delay, we can start our session. Okay. So, where we were discussing chapter 1, introducing communication and communication in the workplace. These are the books I will provide you in the Google Classroom. Let's start with the definition of communication. You see, there are many associations or scholars who provide the definition of communication, business communication actually. This is the act of sending and receiving message from the receiver or from the participants you want to talk with or you want to communicate. Okay. So communication is effective only when the message is understood to the other party. Without that, your communication will not be possible, or the effectiveness or the meaning of real communication will be failed. Okay. So when it stimulates action or encourages the receiver to think in new ways or think in your ways, this is the definition. This is the actual meaning of communication. Okay. So you will find there are several communication definitions. You can go through by yourself. Okay. The role of communication in business. You see that why business depends upon communication. Not only business, every activities or our performance in our daily life or professional life actually depends upon communication. How? When you, in your personal life, when you communicate with your parents, you have to talk with them and you have to persuade them to make the possible outcomes that you want actually. So this is how you communicate with your parents. Now, if we come to the business perspective, how the salesperson communicate, how the executive or managers communicate. Salespersons communicate with the customers, okay? With the customers, and the salespeople have to communicate with us because they need to sell their products. They need to encourage us to buy the new products that are currently introduced in the marketplace. This is how the communication is very important for the salespersons. You will see the people who are very much open and extrovert, they can deal the salesperson position very effectively than the other people who are not that much open-minded or that much communicative. Okay, you understand my point? And the executive or managers need to communicate with the other subordinates. Okay, the subordinates. You will find that in an organizations there are top level managers, mid-level managers, functional level managers, and the operational level managers. Who are the top level managers? The top level managers are the executive directors or CEO or MD, head of the department. These are the top level managers. Then the mid-level managers, who are they? They called also the functional level managers. They are the head of different segments, like head of communication, head of finance, head of marketing, head of research and development, like that. These are the mid-level positions, mid-level managers. And the last, third level managers are who? The operation level managers are the supervisors or team coordinators, and the lastly the staffs or workers at the very last stages of the employee. Okay, so the executive and managers need to communicate properly to make a successful project. Okay, this is how actually communication occurs in from the top level management to the bottom level employees. Then come to the point, production management orders. If you need some products to be requisition, then you need to order to your suppliers, okay, to your respective department. So production management also makes some communication with, maybe it may be through by email or written documents, whatever else, but they need to communicate. Marketing professionals, researchers, informations, PR professionals trust all exchange informations. Okay, so this is how the researchers also give informations to all the related stakeholders. Do you know the difference between stakeholders and stockholders? Okay, I am explaining you the stakeholders, stakeholders. The stockholders and stakeholders are different. How they are different? The stakeholders means the all related participants of a business. They are the stakeholders. For example, Berger Paints, this is a company, okay? So the stakeholders of the Berger company are who? They are employees, they are executives, government, we the customers, other agencies, banks where they take loans, and all other parties. Okay, these are the stakeholders. Okay, the belongingness of that product or of that company. This is called the stakeholders. And on the other hand, the stockholders are the shareholders of the company, only the shareholders of the company. I think you understand my point, the difference between stakeholders and stockholders. Okay, this is how actually we can communicate in our daily life or in our professional life. So why there lies different challenges in business communication? Because the need for expanded media literacy or social intelligence. Okay, what does it mean? Media literacy, because you see that nowadays there are a round of fake newses, yellow journalism, or gray areas. What is true and what is false? What should we believe? What we should remove from our mind? There are a number of different gray areas. So these are the challenges of business communication, to pick the right or correct message from the rumors. Okay, then the increasing globalism and workplace diversity. Increasing globalism, that means globalization. You know that, I believe. Globalization is the process or is the concept. What is globalization? Globalization is the concept of interdependent nationals, interdependent production, interdependent market. Okay, this is the globalization. So how it make challenges for business communication? Because of globalization or workplace diversity, people are now working in Bangladesh, working in China, working in Japan, working in US, Germany, blah, blah, blah. So the time and the place is different. So it is very difficult to communicate properly where the people are not in our exact place. So why it is difficult? Because the time is different. When I am in my working hours, maybe they are in sleeping time. Okay, so this is how the globalization create challenges in business communication. Then increased need for strong analytical skills. Okay, so we need strong analytical skills, not only dependent on ChatGPT, Gemini, or other tools. We need to understand what the ChatGPT actually tells us. Actually, is the all informations are provided by ChatGPT is correct? We need to understand that. Okay, we obviously we can use the AI tools, but we need to handle them in a correct way. Okay, so this is the strong analytical skills. It needs to be increased, or it needs to be dig down. We have to dig down all the analytical skills. Then the last one, increased focus on ethics and social responsibility. Okay, the ethical boundary and social responsibility. We cannot make harm to the society, people, and we all of us, we need to maintain the boundary of ethics. What does it mean, ethics actually? Ethics means that what is the right and wrong perception in every pitch of your information, or in every sector of your performance. Okay, so these are the ethics. What is right and wrong? The perception of right and wrong in our head, in our brain. This is the ethics in our mind. Okay. Then business communication. What does it mean? Transferring information from one party of the business to another that leads to some outcome, changed behavior or changed practice. Okay, if we cannot make proper communication with our other parties, with our relevant parties, that will cause harmful result in our business or in our projected outcomes. Okay, in our expected outcomes. This is how we can transfer information in a good manner, in a correct way. Types of business communication. There are actually two types of business communication. What are those? Operational and personal. Operational business communication and personal business communication. You see, the naming also tells us the meaning. Operational is more formal. Okay, operational is more formal. That is internal communication and external communication. On the other hand, the personal communication is the less formal or informal communication. That is, when we, the colleagues, when you, the students, make different sorts of communication, different kinds of talks on different issues. This is personal communication. This is informal communication. The operational communication is the formal kind of communication that divided into two internal and external communication. What does it mean? Internal communication means the communication will happen inside the company, inside your business. This is internal communication. And external communication is what? It is the communication with the other parties outside of your business, outside of your company. This is external communication. Okay, you understand? Then the communication pattern, communication mode of your communication, how you can communicate verbally and non-verbally. Okay, verbally and non-verbally. Verbally means you speak on your mouth. Okay, verbal communication. Non-verbal communication, there are different kinds of non-verbal communication. What are those? Your gesture, your posture, your nodding of heads, your writings, everything is non-verbal communications. Okay, that means you are not talking, but you are communicate with non-verbal materials, whether it will email or invoice or written documents, any other things. Okay, these are the non-verbal communication. The verbal communication and non-verbal communication are the two modes of communications. Okay, two ways of communications. Sorry for extra noise. This is the challenge of communications, extra noise that I am facing now. Written communication. Okay, what are the written communications? You see memos, emails, business letters, business proposals, research proposals, everywhere, everything, it is written communication. Okay, you see the oral and non-verbal communication, oral versus non-verbal communications. Okay, so what are the oral communications? You see, confidence. How confidence can be found in oral communications? When you talk to other people, your gesture, your posture, your confidence can be found in your oral communication. Okay, that is verbal communication. Thoroughness, friendliness, your friend or your other party can identify, can predict your friendliness, can predict your flexibility. Okay, so these are the oral communication modes, and how these oral communications can be important because the other party get confident with you, get friendliness from you, at ease, approachability, how you approach them. These are the oral communication, importance of oral communications, because your party can identify your body language, they can perceive your appearance, they can understand your tone of voice, they can understand your empathy inside your heart. Okay, through your oral communication. This is very important, very important. And what are the non-verbal communications? You see, the non-verbal communications, there are number of non-verbal communication methods, how we can make our other party understand with graphics, with brochures, with sample of products, with inspections, with different images, photos, videos, or demonstration of different projects, or email, internet. Okay, the non-verbal communication modes. There are a number of non-verbal communication modes. How we can deliver our speech, deliver our information to our other party. Okay, now come to the point. Communication network. Communication network, formal network and informal network. Formal network is well established, usually along operational lines, and it is planned. I'm showing you the slide where you can see the figure. You see the top management of this is department manager, the mid-level manager, supervisor, and what are those yellow colors? These are the employees. Okay, these are the employees or workers. You see the straight line, block, solid black color straight line. These organogram presents the formal network. You see departmental manager will lead the supervisors. Supervisors will lead the workers or employees under his supervision, right? This is the formal network communication. Formal communication. If the communication makes in this line, through this line, these are formal communication methods. The dotted lines, dashed lines, these are the informal. What does it mean? Departmental managers can talk with the employees. Supervisors can talk with the departmental managers. Supervisors can talk these employees under the other supervisors. All the people are in a under an informal network. This is the informal network of communication. You understand? So informal network, you see, it is very dynamic and complex. You see, this from that, this from that, this from that. This is very dynamic and complex. And the formal network is very organized and planned, and well established, usually along operational lines. These are the lines, operational lines, how a company can operate. Okay, the formal and informal communication networks in a division of a small manufacturing company. These example can be fitted in any organizations. Okay, how the communication occurs in a formal way and informal way. So there might be a question that does informal communication is bad for company? No, absolutely not. Because through informal communication, through personal communication, your personal relationship will be stronger with your teammates, with your supervisors, with your managers, with your fellow mates. So the informal communications or the personal communication network is very important to a successful formal network, to maintain a successful formal communication network, right? So this is how informal communication network is very important. So these informal networks, sometimes called grapevines, 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 because these the lines are not fixed. Grapevines, like, okay, so the lines are not fixed. The communication channels are not fixed in informal or personal communication. This is sometimes called the grapevine communication. So grapevine communication or personal communication or informal communication is good for the company because it can create a channel. It can create a scope for all the parties to maintain a good communication in a formal way, right? Then factors affecting volume of communication is business factors. What are the factors? Okay, so if there are a number of people, you must a huge communication platform. If the nature of business is conducting with a number of people where customers are related, where employees are related, where the government is related, the volume of communication will be Horizon. Okay, operating plan, the planning materials, and we can add several other points here. Which factors affecting the volume of communication in business? Okay, then context, factors affecting communication. Which factors actually affects our communication? Favors our communication, hampers our communication. Actually, these are the factors affecting communication. Which are those? Like context, noise, culture, and language. We can add some other points: times of the country, distance of the country, or the relationship among the parties. We can add some other factors which affect the communication patterns. You see, at first, the context, it refers to the specific circumstances of the communication process, like the physical setting or relationship between the sender and receiver, okay, or any cultural or social factors that may influence the communication, okay. So there are different cultural diversity among people, okay. The culture may differ inside the country, inside different religion. You see that there are number of subgroups in in Islam, in Muslim culture also, okay. You find which Ahnafi or Shia, Sunni, there are different cultural, religious cultural differences, okay. Physical setting, it means also there are other than religious differences, there are differences among the borderlines, the Indians, Bangladeshis, or Chinese people. There are different cultural differences among different peoples. Then physical setting is the distance of the person's residence, or how they are going to conduct their business from a distant place, okay. The relationship between the sender and receiver, okay. The depth of good relationship, the depth of bad relationship, it is the context. It is absolutely a very important context for a good communication. Sometimes we see that we cannot find positive perception to the people who we don't like, or who we the people we like. We find all the activities, all the words are good because we find them good, we think they are good, they are our good friends. These are the context actually. So the noise, you find that the noise is obstacle for communications, and I am facing right now, the noise is a barrier in communication to any distraction that disrupts the smooth transmission and the reception of the message. Culture and language, you see the difference, culture and language, because in Chinese culture, you see that if I am in the classroom, I can make you more understandable with the culture and language, okay, or how the non-verbal communication practices may change over the cultures. Okay, so culture and language, linguistic barriers, or the cultural thinking pattern. We the Bangladeshi peoples are following the polychronic time or polycentric time. What does it mean? It means that there are two types of timing concepts. That one is monochronic time and the other is polychronic time. What does it mean? Monochronic time means 11 a.m. is exactly 11 a.m. 11:30 a.m. is exactly 11:30. 8 p.m. is exactly 8. Okay. The foreign countries, most of the foreign countries actually follow this timing concept, but we the Bangladeshi are following the polychronic time concept. That means our 11 a.m. is not always 11 a.m. It can be 11:10, 11:15, 11:12, 11:05, or maybe it can be 11, exact 11, but it's not the fixed. It's not that much fixed than the other people following in the foreign countries. This is the cultural differences in the sense of timing concept. Okay, so there are other cultural differences in gesture and posture of a human being. I will explain it when we can meet in the classroom. Okay. Factors affecting communication. Okay, okay, done. Then the business communication process. How the business communication actually occurs. The reality is more natural and more easier. The theoretical communication process is very complex and very complex, and steps. There remains a number of steps. But in reality, we cannot perceive these steps. We cannot all think all the time these steps. Okay, but for our academic course or for theoretical understanding, we need to understand at least once. Okay, so the business communication process, you see the communicator, you, and the communicator two, the other party. What the communicator one does, senses a communication need. You feel that a communication needs to be occur. Okay, you see, when I'm talking you, I'm teaching you, I feel the need, I feel the sense of communication with you. Okay, then defines the problem. What does it mean? What I am actually doing now? Uh, I am describing different contexts. I am describing different problems. I am describing different differences among the cultures. Among the this is how I am defining the problem. I am explaining the problem to you. Research for possible solutions. How can I make this problem in a solution? I am discussing. This is the method how I am making you understandable. Okay, selects a course of action, message type, content, format, channels. How I am conducting through um, a session or online session. Okay, compose the message. You are composing the message, you are hearing that and delivers the message. I am composing all the message in my head, in my brain, and I am delivering the message through my voice and through this online platform. You are the communicator too. You are the receivers of the message. You are the receiver of the message and interprets the message. You are interpreting all the message in your head. Okay, decides on a response, because at first you are listening me, then you receive this message, interpret this message in your head, and decides not to respond. Okay, or decides on a response in your head. Yes, I'm understanding. Yes, what is madam saying? Yes, it's correct, or blah blah blah. You are deciding on a response. May send a responding message. You may send a responding message, or only understanding in your head. Okay, this is how actually business communication held, or any communication held. This is the communication process, similar as this throw sender. You can go through it. Okay, not that much important. The communication process begins when one person initiates a need of communication. You better go through this slide also. The role of technology in business communication. We are experiencing the positive role of technology in business communication exactly now. Okay, in video conferencing or Zoom classroom, instant messaging, email, or other technological tools that helps business communication in a good way, right? This is the end of chapter 1. Okay. Should I start chapter 2 now or in the next class?
Next class means
Next Monday.
Okay, next Monday, hopefully next Monday we will conduct our class physically. Okay, because physical class is very interesting, and I like it. Physical. Participant 52. How many of you in total? 52? How many?
Total 59 maybe currently.
9, right? Okay, 52, only 6 or 7%. Okay, then I will correct it in your attendance sheet in the next Monday. Okay, I will give you all the attendance for today. And I have the documents for the previous days attendance. Okay, no problem, no tension actually. Okay, you understand today's discussion?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, then I am giving you the slides and all the course outline materials in our Google Classroom. Miras, I have already sent you the link. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I have shared already.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my dear students, Allah Hafiz. Hope to see you in the next Monday.
Assalamualaikum, ma'am.
Walaikum salam. Allah Hafiz. Okay, Assalamu alaikum.